Before we begin, thank you very much to Toku for joining my Patreon campaign. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I want to keep this short because, frankly, it's late and I have to get to bed. But thank you guys so much for the support. It really is keeping the channel going. I do appreciate it. All right, so I can't wait for Monday to talk about this. This is actually worth discussing right here, right now, as is. We got a new list of leaks and all these cool new things that we have to look forward to, not in Evolution, but in Legacy Year 3, which is, so far, according to these listings, it is UNI. So it is Legacy United, Legacy Universe is my guess. We don't know yet, but we have even more characters and more toys revealed for it through some listings that happen to appear in certain computers. So let's take a look and we'll see exactly what we got coming out. Get hype, everybody. This is cool stuff. This is interesting. So we're going to start with the core class. We only got 3 core class figures revealed. So we're going to go with number 1, which is a rock. It's a rock. Specifically, it is Core Rock 1. So, no indicators beyond that. Nothing. Your guess is as good as mine. I think everyone is already calling this like a Rock Lord. That we're actually going to get Rock Lords. Considering we don't get GoBot characters outside of Crasher, it would be a real stretch to think Rock Lord. It might be an homage. But with the core class one, we really don't have much to discuss here. But give me a minute. We're going to get back to this. Let's talk about the other ones that have come up. So, in other core class news, Tasmanian Kid, not Snarl, Tasmanian Kid. Now, with Japanese trademarks, it's a little bit weird, so do not be surprised if they just go back to calling it by the Beast Wars name of Snarl. But I do think it's really interesting that it's being produced with Tasmanian Kid in mind for this. So, Lio Convoy is going to have a sidekick. He's going to have like a little one going around. So, I mean, Lio Jr. would be really cool. It'd be really hilarious to go alongside with Skywarp, and then everyone would want Santon or Ironhide in America. So I don't think they want to start that precedent. However, this is a fascinating one. So I like that mold. I like the original Snarl mold. It's a fun little toy. I had it as Bound Rogue. I have a loose one around here somewhere, and I've got a carded one. So getting a brand new one in Legacy is actually going to be really, really cool. I'm really interested because the toys are virtually identical. So I'm really curious what they're going to do to make it actually feel like Tasmanian Kid and how like show accurate it's going to end up being. So super cool. And also if they do a Bound Rogue repaint of it, I'm going to laugh and then I'm going to buy it. But it was the 3rd core class entry that got me really interested because it's completely out of left field and I absolutely love hearing about it. It is Energon Megatron. So, a friend of mine actually made the suggestion. My friend Griff actually made the suggestion that maybe this is not what we think it is. Maybe this is like the tank Megatron that's already in core class, like repainted and retooled to look like the extra like arm, like the extra like tank unit for this particular incarnation of Megatron. And you know what? I don't know if they would go a 3rd round on that mold as it is. They already did it in G1 and G2 colors. I don't really imagine them going that route. I do think this is going to be just a tiny little, like, desktop-sized Energon Megatron, largely because it is not a difficult toy to do. It's a very simple transformation. So recreating it at a core class is not going to be much of an issue. And I like the precedent it sets. It turns core class kind of into the old Legends class again, where we can get just about anyone in pocket size. And I would actually be really down for that. I mean, it's still weird. It's still really weird, right? It's like Energon Megatron in like that size. I'm down for it. I mean, it sounds fun, but it's a weird one. It's a weird one. So maybe the tank theory is true, and maybe it's just a placeholder name. Don't know yet, but it's an interesting one to speculate on. And just, yeah, I kind of just want to have a tiny little Energon Megatron. All right, so those are your core classes. So now we have to bump it up to deluxe class. We only had cores and deluxes in this wave of leaks. So we're going to talk about the first deluxe that came up, which is Another Rock. Yep, this one is Deluxe Rock 1. And it is followed by Deluxe Rock 2, which means we have 3 rocks in this new line. So this is where we start kind of speculating on what this is actually going to be. So yeah, I can imagine this being something of a tribute or homage to Rock Lords in the long run, but I don't think they're actually going to represent Rock Lord characters for the same reason we can't get GoBot characters. The animation models look exactly like the toys, and that means it crosses into Bandai's trademarks and copyrights, and we can't do that. What it feels like is that we're going to get the Hasbro Transformer take on what a Rock Lord is, but I feel like that is going to be, Legacy Universe Unite, whatever it is. It's going to be Legacy Year 3's version of the Junkions, or fossilizers, or modulators, or weaponizers, etc. It's going to be the ones that come apart and reassemble, except in this case, you're going to be able to form rock armor for your larger figures, which is actually not the first time Hasbro and Takara have had that idea. You look back at one of my previous videos on unused G1 concepts, and one of them was a direct response to Rock Lords if they had taken off. It would have seen fossils that were buried in dirt or ice that transformed entirely on their own, and then the parts of the rock and ice you took off for the transformation could recombine into armor. It feels like we're going to get something similar to that. Now, if there's a fossil element to it, that might be a cool little twist and add a little bit of design character to it. But it really just might be, here's a character that turns into a rock and then a bunch of like rock weapons and armor for your larger toys. No clue yet, but it is a possibility, so feel free to speculate. And keep in mind, these could all just be like weird code names, and I mean, they are code names, because the trademark on the box is not going to be Rock 2. So feel free to speculate. I think we're getting something akin to a Rock Lord, which is really weird to say in 2023. Now let's get into the real stuff. Gears. Gears is on the list. This is the one that was canceled during Kingdom. There was actually a few, including a few fossilizers that got canceled in Kingdom. There was a saber-toothed tiger that didn't make it out. I think a crocodile fossilizer that didn't make it. There was also Polar Claw, who was really perked everyone's interest when it showed up because it wasn't a show character. You're going to tell me that like we're going to do this Kingdom thing with characters that weren't in the Beast Wars cartoon. Interesting choice. Obviously, that did not happen. Polar Claw, the extra fossilizers, all canceled. Gears, however, seems to have survived it by just getting himself delayed by a few years. So we are actually going to see Gears for our Deluxe Mini Bot collection. I'm still not really happy with the Deluxe Mini Bots. Like, they're supposed to be smaller than most of the other Autobots. It's cool that they get really good toys, but I thought they were all going to be like Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, where they were smallish deluxes with big accessory parts to make up for it, so they still scaled correctly. We're not apparently worried about scale with these, and I think the rumored and listed Studio Series Brawn is going to fall under that same category of just as big as all the others, which is a little bit of a disappointment, just because it really kind of throws off like the look in a G1 shelf, I think. But hey, I'm glad Gears is getting another round. It's I don't mind it. It's good to see him. Yeah, so who else we got? I mean, it does mean it does mean we might have a deluxe class swerve on the way. That would be interesting. All right. Next up, Sure Shot. This one was cool too. This one was cool to find out about too. I guess now that we're actually getting like good target masters, now we can actually get a few more of them in. So this one, like, it's one of those, like, I don't think Sure Shot has had a toy since the original G1 in any form, even BotCon not touching him. And I think a big reason for that is because of what he transforms into, a dune buggy. There's very few dune buggy transformers out there to choose from. Any other one besides Sure Shot is actually more obscure than he is, with one exception, and you know the one I'm talking about. I am willing to bet you that this is going to be the remold of the upcoming Beachcomber that we know is on the way as well. I mean, it'll take some remolding, and it'll take a torso rotation, so the cab section can be on the front rather than the back. But I don't foresee Hasbro making two different Dune Buggy toys in the same lineup at the same size. So I am absolutely expecting that to be a retool. Also, a retool might actually allow them the budget to include his Target Master a little bit easier than like how Needle Nose had to include his. Fingers crossed, because that would be, I mean, I think, yeah, Target Masters with their Target Master partners, like, obviously, right? So I think that's how they're going to work the budget to make that happen. So, yeah. It's good to see some of the more obscure ones get a shot. Now, do me good a good Crosshairs, because like the one you did in Siege did me dirty. I want a proper Crosshairs next. All right, next we're getting into interesting ones here. Chromia, and now the listing for this one specifically has the letters CYB in front of the name Chromia, so we are speculating that this is, of course, Cyberverse Chromia, because naturally there is no Cybertron Chromia, so it's literally the only thing the abbreviation can mean. And if you haven't kept up on the news, there's another reason to speculate that's what it means. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Chromia is a really interesting choice because, one, oh well, hey, more female bots on the toy shelves. It's not always something I'm going to champion. More importantly, though, for as many appearances as Chromia made in Cyberverse, she never got a toy of any kind. The only thing she got was one of those tiny turbo changers, those little soft blind bagged figures, like the predecessor to the BotBot. That's the only thing she ever got as a toy for the entirety of Cyberverse. No one step, no warrior, certainly not a deluxe. So now she's getting a deluxe in the brand new line. That's absolutely awesome. I mean, I really like this version of Chromia's design. It'd be great to see her again. Hopefully she doesn't shelf warm like the last one did. But I think she'll do okay. I think she will do okay. But that's one of the ones to be excited about. Then there is the next one. Windblade is finally back. So after I did that video of like the rise and fall of Windblade, it's really just specifying, like, for a character that was like so hot with Hasbro for so long, man, they really dropped her and did nothing with her for a long time. Now we're doing it again. And again, just like Chromia, it has CYB listed on it. So this is why we think it's Cyberverse. And that would be a great thing, because once again, we're dealing with a character that was very underutilized on the toy shelves. She got a warrior class toy that was not good. And that is a sin. It's a sin, considering like she was the main character of season 1 and a major plot focus later on. That's a pretty major role to give to Windblade, and then give her no toy representation outside of a bad warrior class figure. Here we were wondering why she didn't get a deluxe when they started releasing those. Thunderhowl got a deluxe. Thunderhowl got a deluxe on top of an Ultra that came out at roughly the same time, and I would argue the Ultra was the more fun toy of the two. It felt like a waste of space. It should have gone to Windblade. The slot should have gone to Windblade, period. So she's getting her dues. She's not even in like the Cyberverse, cheaper style of deluxe class toy. She's getting a full budget deluxe. That is cool. That is absolutely awesome. Now keep in mind, they are probably going to be G1ified to a degree, but as long as the root design is there, I think we're going to be fine. And it seems like with things like Skyquake, they've actually gotten a handle of where the balance lies. That's going to be really important here soon because Animated Bumblebee is also on the lineup. This one is going to be the real test. Prowl, his engineering and his design is pretty much doable, right? I mean, there's nothing to it that felt like too out of the norm for transformation and all that. Bumblebee is a different story. Bumblebee has an extremely unique transformation in Animated, and to replicate it in Legacy, where he's going to get some kind of G1ification on top of his normal look, does have me a little bit concerned with what he's actually going to look like in the line and how he's actually going to function. Is he going to be that same, like, almost a modern Volkswagen Bug vehicle thing, or are they going to sports car him because he's a Bumblebee? Don't know. Bumblebee is one of those designs where I feel like the roundness is so important that squaring him off to be G1 is just going to be a sin. So this is I think this is going to be just like the most real test of actually like getting a figure out there for Animated in a G1 style. Being able to adapt this into something that still looks the way it does here, but also something that fits in with the rest of the Legacy line. It's a very dicey figure to choose. Very dicey, but I'm curious and I'm interested. Hoping for the best. And then there's the last one. Here's the last one on the list, and this was a very pleasant surprise. We have Chase. Literally, the listing says Rescue Bots Chase. We're getting a Rescue Bot as a full-on deluxe. Hey, you know that thing that we were just complaining about in the previous video? It's actually happening. They're actually going to make Chase as a deluxe. Looking at the design, there's some similar placement here. I might actually believe that Chase might end up being a remold of whatever that Animated Bumblebee is going to be. Because there's just something in my head that says they're not going to give a dedicated brand new mold to the Rescue Bot character, are they? Maybe they will. Maybe there's a retool in mind for it later down the line. I mean, Rescue Bot's pretty famous for reusing its molds over the years, so there's definitely going to be some kind of repaint that's possible out of him. It's a cool choice. It's a cool choice, and it really does push that whole idea of Legacy could really draw from anywhere in Transformer history to pull something from the preschool line. That's cool. That's really cool. Really hoping this turns out well, and I'm hoping it may lead to even some of the other designs making their way. I kind of want Girl Whirl. Not going to lie, I kind of want Girl Whirl. So that is your list. Those are the listings that we have now to go by. It is, again, a fascinating list. There's some really cool and interesting choices on it, and some things to speculate. Speculon? Just told you it was late. Things to speculate on, including, what these rocks are. Why are we buying plastic rocks again? Hopefully we will find out in the not too distant future. Until then, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you were informed, and I hope this has given you something to speculate on, because that's always fun to do. So, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.